Hi everyone, this is Mig from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have the full performance review on the Adidas Dame 7 Visionary. To start things off, I think my room renovation is almost complete. I think I just need a little bit more, lighting elements here on the shelf. But aside from that, I think I'm pretty satisfied. So if you like the new setup of the studio, then please comment down below and make sure to leave a thumbs up down below as well. Then without taking much more of your time, it's time to get into the full performance review on the Adidas Dame 7. Starting off with the traction, the Dame 7 features solid rubber all throughout the outsole, and the pattern that they use consists of a lot of interconnected sevens, or as I like to call it, a lightning bolt pattern. That pattern does move in this sort of wave from the front to the back, giving you really good multi-directional coverage. I did play with these outdoors on a cement court and indoors on a wooden court, and I can definitely say that the traction worked well, and it worked in all directions, whether you were going front to back, side to side, or diagonally. Then for the durability of the outsole, it did hold up really well. I only have really minimal fraying here on the tip of the toe and the edge of the heel. As I said, I also played with these outdoors, and I think it's safe to say that unless you do play primarily on like asphalt, this outsole will be durable enough to last a pretty long time. So for the traction, I'm gonna have to give the Adidas Dame 7 an A. The traction gets an A because it does grip the court really well, whether it's indoors on a wooden court or outdoors on a cement court. The outdoor court that I did play on was really dusty, and it was, exposed to all the elements, so you had some dead leaves and whatnot, and I still didn't really find the need to wipe these. The durability on the outsole is also really good because most of the time, my shoes would show a little bit more fraying than these did. So in my opinion, it does a really good job in terms of durability. The only reason why it got an A and not an A+ is that it doesn't really bite crazy hard. So it's not on that Kobe 9 or Jordan 28 and 29 level of traction, but it is still really good, and when you put these on your feet, you won't really have any worries in terms of traction. Then for the cushion, the Adidas Dame 7 once again makes use of a full-length light strike midsole. The light strike on the Dame 7 felt pretty good underfoot. However, even though I put a lot of time in with these shoes and played a lot of games, it didn't really break into the point that the light strike was as good as the ones on the Dame 6. The light strike is still definitely very lightweight and absorbs quite a lot of impact, as you can see from all of the compression lines on the light strike foam, which means that the foam is doing its job. The one area where it underperforms though when you compare it to the Dame 6 is in terms of the responsive feel and bounce back. It didn't really give me the same pep in your step feeling that the Dame 6 had, and was more of a subdued feeling ride. So for the cushion, I'm gonna have to give the Dame 7 a B+. I was kind of going back and forth between giving this a B or a B+. However, I felt like a B would have been too harsh because the cushion did absorb a lot of impact and was pretty lightweight, and it just really fell short in terms of bounce back and that kind of springy feeling. So I had to bump it up just a little bit to give it a B+. You do feel really low to the ground and lightweight while still having good impact protection. Then lastly, a major concern with foam midsoles is that, are they gonna bottom out pretty quickly? And with my time with the Dame 7 so far, it doesn't show any signs of bottoming out, which is definitely a good thing. Then for the materials on the shoe, there really isn't much of a premium feeling to them. That mesh does feel pretty basic and a little bit on the rough side. And the synthetic nubuck all throughout the shoe feels a little cheap in hand. However, what's important is that it definitely got the job done. The materials did feel really soft on foot, and even if it was primarily mesh, the materials held up really well. I had no fraying anywhere on the shoe. That synthetic nubuck doesn't really show a lot of signs of wear, and overall the materials just did their job and did it well. Then for those plastic pieces here on the shoe, like here on the heel as well as this wing on the side, just like I thought in my initial review, they don't really do much, but at least they didn't impede anything and they didn't break as well. So it's just pretty much there, and as long as it's not negatively affecting the shoe, then that's fine. So for the materials on the Dame 7, I'm gonna have to give it a B+. The materials really aren't premium by any means, so if you want a shoe with premium materials, then definitely look somewhere else. But if you don't really care about that too much and you just want something that works and works well, then this is definitely a good option. I just couldn't give it an A or an A+ because I think those are reserved for things with, nicer textiles or maybe nicer synthetics, because that mesh is pretty basic and that synthetic nubuck just feels really cheap in hand. Then for the support, the Adidas Dame 7 does have quite a bit of support features. You have this internal TPU heel counter, some lines of double stitching here on the upper to keep you locked in on the footbed, some light strike that comes up on both the medial and the lateral side to help with that as well, and I do think it does have a torsional plate here at the bottom, but it doesn't feel that rigid because, you know, even in my hand I can sort of flex it in a little bit of a weird way, but it's not anything too bad. So overall for the support, I'm gonna have to give it an A. The support that I got on the shoe was actually really surprising because when I got them in hand, they were really light, and it also had an almost fully mesh upper, which, you know, sometimes works and sometimes doesn't in terms of support. But since that mesh did have 3 layers and you had that double stitching as well as the nylon cables, that light strike that really comes up to make a wall for your foot when you're moving laterally, and this pretty solid internal heel cup, I had no issues in terms of support. The only reason I couldn't give this an A+ is because, you know, that lack of rigidity here at the midfoot. I don't really suffer from plantar fasciitis, but I know a lot of people that do, so I was just trying to look out for those people since they really need that rigidity, especially in the midfoot. Then for fit and lockdown, I did go true to size with the Adidas Dame 7, and in my initial review, I did state that I had some extra space here at the forefoot, but the lockdown did seem good enough to the point that I didn't feel like I needed to go down half a size. And now that I've played in them, I can say that yes, the lockdown is really good on the shoe, but I do wish that I went down half a size. Those 2 pairs of nylon straps here at the bottom of the lacing, as well as those nylon cables up top, really lock your foot onto the footbed and draw your foot to the heel of the shoe as well. You don't really shift around in the shoe a lot because the lockdown is really good, but because I did go true to size and there was a little bit of extra space lengthwise, I did jam my toes a few times when I was like full speed sprinting, and I tried to stop quickly. So my recommendation for the sizing would be to go down half a size if you have a narrow foot or a normal width foot, and to go true to size if you have a wide foot. Then overall for fit and lockdown, I'm gonna have to give this a B+, and this is because the lockdown is really good on the shoe, but just that extra space lengthwise and widthwise in the forefoot when you go through to size was enough for me to bump it down to a B+. I definitely feel like even if the lockdown on a shoe is good, but it doesn't fit through to size, I can't really give it an A or an A+. That's just how I think of it, because, you know, if you have your standard size and it's the same with every brand, and then one shoe just decides to be a little bit long and you need to go down half a size, I think that's a pretty big inconvenience, especially if you buy a lot of your shoes online. Then for the aesthetics of the shoe, I have really liked the Dame 7, especially in my Visionary colorway. The Visionary colorway does make use of a mismatched color scheme, with blue here on the right shoe and red on the left shoe. I also really love the reflective that they used underneath the open-celled mesh, and it's also just super cool how it can change from colorway to colorway. For example, this is the Visionary colorway, so it has Visionary written underneath, but there is a new pair of Dame 7s that is out that's called the Dame Times, and it actually has Dame Time in that reflective underneath the mesh. Then lastly, my favorite part in terms of the aesthetics on the shoe is this Dame here at the bottom. But unfortunately, after I released my initial review on the Dame 7, I found that this detail is only on the Visionary colorway and not on the Team colorways, which is quite a bummer because I wish that they included this on all of the colorways of the Dame 7. So for the aesthetics of the shoe, I'm gonna have to give it a B+. I would definitely have given it an A if this Dame was available on all of the colorways, but I am trying to think of the shoe overall in terms of all of the colorways. And since there are things that the Visionary colorway has that other colorways don't, couldn't really give the aesthetics of the shoe an A. Then for the price, the Adidas Dame 7 retails for 6,000 pesos here in the Philippines, or $110 US. The Adidas Dame 7 is definitely one of the cheaper options in terms of signature shoes, and this is true regardless of the brand. The only other shoe I can think of that's less than 6,000 would be Donovan Mitchell's shoe and Paul George's shoe from Nike. Then since it does come in at $110 US, that's a really good value proposition because, you know, there are a lot of shoes that are more expensive than this that either don't perform as well overall or have a certain glaring weakness, which the Dame 7 doesn't have. So overall for the price, I think the Dame 7 deserves an A+. Because for 6,000 pesos or $110 US, you get a shoe that has good traction, good cushion, good support, and even though the materials aren't premium, they definitely get the job done. So for my final verdict on the Adidas Dame 7, it is a very solid shoe. It's a shoe that you can consider a jack of all trades and master of none, because no, it doesn't have Kobe 9 or Jordan 28 levels of traction, but it is super reliable. Then even though the light strike on the Dame 7 is not as good as the Dame 6, it definitely absorbs a lot of impact, especially when you consider that it is such a lightweight foam. You have that really good support, which was very surprising. The materials that do feel a little cheap in hand, but at the same token feel very soft on foot, move well with your feet, and pretty durable as well. You have that good lockdown, and for the fit, just as long as you remember to go down half a size, you're pretty much good to go. You have that sleek aesthetic, and in the specific colorway, I just find it super fire. And lastly, the killer feature of the Dame 7 is that it only retails for $110, and that's just really awesome because I do love it when brands come out with shoes that are relatively inexpensive but perform really well on court. So there you have it, guys. That was my performance review on the Adidas Dame 7. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.